and he spent there, I think, 8 months. 8 months, and then he was just a professor. He's sort of viral on our social media here. He talks about corruption as an African gamer, I don't know. How was yesterday? 50.
Yeah, so yesterday I learned for the first time women had 3 roles: productive, reproductive, and society roles. It was very, very interesting.
Yes. 2 roles, reproductive and
reproductive living. And actually it was very touching to me because we finished the campus, we are looking for jobs. And then the jobs we are looking for, they are nowhere to be seen. Yet we can use the available resources that is there. For instance, talked about agriculture as the backbone of East Africa in general. That we can use agriculture to adjust and create opportunities to our natives. So it was very great.
good.
Activities I can do as a person to gain a living without looking for a job anywhere.
Good. How is your mother-in-law?
I don't have a mother-in-law.
Oh, so the person who gave you the microphone. She had a song for us. She had a song for us or something for us. But let us stage, yes. Can we have an opening prayer? How was yesterday? Then we'll pray.
Yesterday was great. I learned a lot. And something that I picked, can just say one thing, was the power of the mind, your mindset. Nothing can be achieved, nothing you can put in place unless you. Most High God, loving Father, we bless your holy name. We thank you so much for this glorious morning. It's a great day. We are here smiling, rejoicing, celebrating your goodness in the new day. Here we are in our second day of this conference. Loving Father, we pray that your presence will come and abide in our midst. Come and guide us, come and direct us. Come and give us all the knowledge and understanding that we need. Loving Father, that we shall do things, productive things that will change the lives of the youth in this nation and the world at large. In Jesus' precious name we pray.
Amen.
Ding dong. So now everyone. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Okay. Remember, this is one. Now, and we are talking about man or uncle, and we say uncle was in Vilnius, and we say Buvo de Vilnius, Buvo de Vilnius. Together. Buvo de Vilnius, Buvo de Vilnius. Buvo de Vilnius. Correct. Okay, don't be shy. It's a song. You need to open your lungs. The third one. But maybe we are doubting. Maybe he was in Vilnius. Maybe he wasn't. Gal buvo, gal ir ne. Gal buvo, gal ir ne. One sec. All together. 1, 2, 3. Gal buvo, gal ir ne. Gal buvo, gal ir ne. Okay, and the last one. Of course he was. All together. 1, 2, 3. No, you have to do it all together. If you don't do it together, it doesn't work like that. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Vilnius, and I'm very happy to be here. I must admit that every time I step my foot on African soil, I feel very good. So I suspect that in my previous life, I used to live here. So I'm partially African as well. So throughout this project, we got to know each other organizations quite good. And I thought it would be good for you to get to know more about SMK University as well as the project partner. So So what I'm going to tell you today is, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Lithuania. I'm going to tell you about our university, what we do, our connection with Africa and African students, and also opportunities for African students. And maybe future plans as well. All right. So yesterday my colleagues told a little bit about Lithuania. It's not a very big country, but it's quite sound. It's called a country of 1,000 lakes. We have tons of lakes, a lot of lakes. We have no crocodiles in them. We have no snakes in them. So we get to swim in them. Only actually a couple months per year, because in the wintertime those lakes are frozen. You can actually take your car on the lake and just drive on the ice, because ice can be this thick. So crazy Lithuanians, what they do, they drill the hole in ice and they fish. They freeze and they fish. They maniacs. We also have sand dunes near the Baltic Sea, and we also have the authentic Old Town, Vilnius Old Town, which is protected by UNESCO as well. Colleagues that actually went to Vilnius, got to experience that. Arnell, right? Arnell, you were there, so, and Alex saw that himself as well. What did you eat?
I ate a fish.
You ate a fish?
Yes.
I think he ate the
All right, so let's have another lesson, geography lesson. This time we have names written on them. So everybody knows Turkey. Okay, this is the Northern Africa right here, okay? So we move to Europe. We get Italy. We get Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Poland, and here we are, Lithuania. Lithuania was actually considered to be a geographical center of European continent by this one crazy French scientist. But we believe in him, and we are in the center of Europe. We even have a point, the really point where that center is. And there is a really beautiful park there. So that's another place to visit. Capital of Lithuania is Vilnius. All right, so let's proceed. So the area of Lithuania is 65,000 square kilometers. How to explain? Okay, if you take a car and if you drive from one corner to another corner, to cross the whole country across, it will take you, if you drive 100 kilometers an hour, non-stop, on the highway, with a good road, good pavement, like we have, it's going to take you around 3.5 hours. That's it. So it's not very big. It's not very big. Population, we can actually argue. Some will say 2.5, some will say 2.9.
You are including your students, international students.
Yes. I like number 8, so it's 2.8, okay? You can hate me, my colleagues, all right? It's 2.8.
2011 counting, no?
All right, we have like 400,000 people on a long-term business trip in UK or Ireland or Germany, okay? They are working there for now, and they will come back. They will coming back. Of course. So we speak Lithuanian language, which is part of Indo-European languages. It's actually one of the oldest as well. There is only one another language in that family that is quite alike, and it's Latvian. Latvia is to the north from us. The rest of languages are very different. We have nothing to do with Slavic languages. So when international students are coming to SMK and we try to teach them Lithuanian language, they get really stressed out because it's difficult. So the capital is Vilnius. Vilnius, right here, this one side. Back there, there's a castle. This is the ancient capital of Lithuania, Trakai. That's where, in 14th century, our Grand Duke Vytautas had lived there. And back then, Lithuania was the biggest country in all of European Union. And the borders reached all the way to, even to the Black Sea, to Crimea and those areas. But throughout the history, we had quite rough times. We had wars, we had betrayals, we have occupations, and so on. And in 1991, we finally got our independence back, and we haven't looked back ever since then. So in 2004, Lithuania joined European Union. Also, we joined NATO. I don't know. Do you familiar with NATO? You know what NATO is? North Atlantic Alliance. Thank God we joined them, because right now probably would be coming with a Russian passport. Who knows? And we also are part of Schengen zone, which means that we belong to this open area. We have no borders. So you jump in the car and you can drive all the way to Portugal or to Spain. Of course, it will take you quite a while, but you can drive all the way down and nobody will stop you to check your passport. Well, it's good to have it, but you don't need it. Right now, Estonia, in some ways, Estonia is leading, but in some ways, we are leading, but it's good to have someone that you compete against. So it doesn't keep you in one place. You always try to move forward, and so 60 churches, that's a lot. And those churches are really authentic. They are, so, however, sometimes when the priest comes on Sunday to hold the Mass, and he sees, because basketball is our second religion, only then you are allowed to miss the Mass. Our national feast. Basketball is actually Soviet times, when we were occupied by the Soviet Union. This sport was actually part of and our team in Kaunas, city Kaunas, was playing against in championship of Soviet Union. Every year, Red Army team, and like in Lithuania, in our mindset, it was like we are playing for our freedom. To beat them was priceless, because that's like, this is like one of the feelings that you can. Then, ever since then, Lithuania basketball just it's better. I mean, every boy. Unfortunately, I'm too short to play basketball. Well, yeah. No, I played a little bit. I know how to play basketball. All right, so it's not as close as we would want it to be. There are some complications for Africans to reach Lithuania, I mean, the biggest one probably is the immigration policies, and our very big problem when students are coming to study in SMK. It's the problems that students face is Lithuanian language. It is difficult to learn, and when they get there, we try to teach them, but not all of them are actually learning it. So without Lithuanian language, it's difficult to get a job in Lithuania. And bureaucratic obstacles, so on. And another one is weather forecast. Weather factor is, in wintertime, it could get around -20. But luckily, you know, as soon as they come, like for example in the fall when we have mild temperatures or right temperatures like plus 15, plus 10, this is actually warm for us. We bring them to the stores, we buy them adequate clothes, we dress them up, and we prepare them for winter. Sometimes, you know, no, I'm just kidding, we're not. All right, so Lithuania to the side, now SMK. Where we are coming from. SMK was established in 1994. Contact, that student contacts us, we take personal approach. So that means we are in touch with every single student and we help them with the application process. So direct step by step, we help them to get the paperwork that they need to get to us. Once they are accepted, then we help them with a visa process. And that's complicated because they need to travel in person to the country where we do have an embassy. So students in the past, they've been traveling to South Africa, to Turkey, even to India, or even China in order to apply for Lithuanian visa. And that's painful, and that's, I don't know, this is like the dark side of Lithuania. I'm like, you know, I'm not very proud of that. But maybe someday. So once they get a visa and they come to Lithuania, we always pick them up at the airport because we know how stressful that can be, and especially if they come in the winter time when it's minus 20, you know, they could get shocked, basically. So we definitely pick them up and we bring them to the dormitory. We also assign a student mentor to every of our students. So a local Lithuanian student who knows the places is given to international student as a buddy. So they are able to show them where to get the groceries. They are able to teach them how to use public transport, where to go, where not to go, where the good clubs are. I mean, everything about living in that city. We also conducted student orientation, and we definitely help them to integrate in our academic community. So we bring them together with Lithuanian students. We organize various events. We bring them on excursions. We show them around the city. We bring them to Klaipėda to show them our college there, our campus there. Then just many sorts of events. Also, our students are required to do internship. So 2 different internships. So we give them counseling, we give them career counseling as well, and we help them to find the places where they can do their internships. Thanks to Erasmus Plus program, they're actually able to do internships, they get scholarship to do internships abroad. So sometimes they go to countries like Germany, to Spain, to Greece, France, Holland. Right now, actually, I have one student from Nigeria who is doing his internship this summer in Amsterdam. So they are able to do their internships there. The big plus is many times those places where they do internship, they offer them a job, offer them employment. So after graduation, they actually stay and they work there. We also offering our students career counseling and counseling for continuation studies, which means we don't have a master programs. So if they want to continue their studies, we help them to find university where they can do that. So we help them also with application, we help them with transcripts, with everything else. And they are able to proceed their studies in different European countries, not necessarily Lithuania. For the future, to ease these rules for students to come from Africa to come to Lithuania. Of course, that's like fighting windmills, but you know, we are trying to fight that war, and hopefully someday, you know, it will be much easier for students to reach Lithuania. And also another initiative, we are looking for private donors in order to establish the scholarships for students from Africa who are not able to afford studies. Because there are a lot of gifted, very smart kids who would be able to study and who would be able to contribute. But they, unfortunately, they're not able to afford this trip to Europe because still it's quite expensive.
And I work in National NGO platform. This is NGO which unites other NGOs, local NGOs working in development or humanitarian aid. So it's NGOs working for development and cooperation. If you look for partners and if you ever come up to NGO thing, this is basically something what you can find in every country in Europe. Also worldwide, it's just called different. Okay, I will show you later. So what do we do as NGO? We have a couple of different types of work. First is the same advocacy and policy making. We are directly involved with government ministries in policy making and advocacy for humanitarian aid, development, global education, and sustainable development goals, which is the last thing. Okay. Second thing is capacity building for our NGOs. So NGOs based in Lithuania. We have 21 members and partners. So from the members, we can kind of more or less cover all the fields, starting from environment, housing, water, to education and social issues. Some of our members, you probably know, it's worldwide organizations as Save the Children in Lithuania or Red Cross or Maltese. And also we have mental health, environment, education. We also have partners. We work directly with 3 universities in Lithuania now, and also some other institutions as municipalities. And a third thing we do, so if you understand capacity building for NGOs, it's these 21 NGOs, or partners NGOs, they are the ones who are working in the field of development. Somewhere in our mindset, we still see ourselves as the aid receivers. So when we start talking about global cooperation, partnership and sharing in global level, a lot of people feel lost. And I think NGOs feel lost. Like, do we really can do this? So I'm very happy about our members. I'm happy there are more and more things coming, but this is also something you have to understand. Even the same things with the ministry. I mean, just recently we had the direct funds coming to the global cooperation in the world. What is mainly priority areas? Of course, you know, global cooperation and development. I don't really like development word itself. It's strange, right? Because it was misused in many cases. We mainly work with the Eastern Partnership in Europe, so Georgia, Ukraine, South America, Asia, and we also have partners in Africa and direct projects in Africa. My main thing, what I want to do today, I will run shortly through the students if there are some. I also have a couple of links basically you can use. Because after me, it's very important, the coffee break session. Also, we can have a discussion on that, okay? So I will just show you. Okay, starting with work and what we do in global cooperation in the terms of ministry. Every ministry in every European country, they have commitments for the global development and humanitarian projects. So this is also the one of the key or the one of the direct messages, like the direct channels you can get for cooperation. For us, we are very happy that it happened last year. The first time we got supported 2 projects, and one is with Nigeria, an ICT building, and one is in Mali. And I know it was not easy, and it took a lot of time for advocacy. So we also expect this next year. Together with also Ministry and African Department, we organize African Days. This is basically happening every year since 2011 or 10, if I'm right, it was many years back. And we also get direct starting from the students, what I always do and what I say, if you look for global opportunities or if you look for chance and scholarships, there's everything you can find online. What basically I did when I started to get into the field and start looking for more global things, I started to Google. There are a lot of channels where you can basically find a complete summarized information. One of main we use is the same lab info. It is also for NGOs and universities, trainings, conferences, scholarships. Youth Talk is basically also goes for global scholarships, and I know we were sharing with partners just a couple of months ago Offered Scholarship, which is basically open every year. And also direct one, we didn't have Lithuania included this year as Swedish Institute. And it's also probably Swedish Institute and British Council are probably two main actors leading with the students' exchanges and programs in terms of scholarship. What do we do as NGOs and how we also do it in Lithuania out of these two projects supported by ministry, which is, you can understand, is just basically nothing. Our NGOs were working. We as a platform established for 10 years. Our NGOs working in the field for basically 20, 25 years. So what do? We do this thing. We use international funds. Now we have 7 projects in total in the platform. 5 with the global partners, and together with our members. Okay, something what I know what is happening and what we are applying. Our partners apply for the young water solutions. It happened the first time 2 years ago. Now it's happening again, and they have an open call, so you can check. It's basically more directed to NGOs, and it's still August, so it's one of the things. Global Education Network. We are part of Global Education Network since the last time it was 7 years ago. We brought it back last year. This year is a partnership with university. Global Education Network is basically European, African, Asian organizations that are working for global education. There's 2 trainings happening, and after there's an internship with the global partner. The good thing what is happening, they started to do initiatives in Africa as South Exchange. Benin is leading in Africa, so let's say Benin and Ghana, they could have exchange together. We accredited our partners last year. This year we'll send 1 intern also to the partners. And now it's also open call for new members. If you know new partners, so you can check the network, you can see what is happening, and maybe you will find yourself into this. Second thing, and I think the most wide thing working in global corporations, of course, Erasmus II capacity building. One is in the field of youth, so this is basically what we do now. We as a platform, we have also other projects with Mexico, Nepal, and Vietnam. The ones who applied this year, there are still no results. We also applied with partners from Ghana and Kenya. We'll see what's happening. This is kind of the main program used by Europeans, also for the global partnerships. I don't know if somebody is here from universities. Last year, we also been in touch with Ghanaian, Kenyan, and Ugandan universities. They separated call. Basically, when you come to this page, you just pick the funding, you're going to see all the calls. Okay, now everything is closed, or the upcoming calls. Even as the European network, as you know, kind of since the last 2 years, there are a lot of negotiations and a lot of things happening in Brussels with a lot of direct funds coming to Africa, basically to stop migration and to force employment. So in this framework last year was direct calls for African universities. So it's African universities in cooperation with European, but European comes as partners. We tried to initiate last year, but we ran out of time. So there is something you can also keep in mind and check, because there's going to be more different calls for African applicants, right? NGO working web page. It's probably you learn them by doing. Second one is Europe Aid. It's also this direct programs, which is mainly our members and we are using for the global. And this is also mainly also directed for the global partners. So it's
because people are resourceful, people have network, people are resourceful. The world is here. Thank you very much. Can we give her another big hand? Yes, she has allowed us to ask her questions, but I think we shall be getting time for questions. And we are going to share all this from all presenters. Don't get worried and say, I didn't capture this, I didn't capture this. We are going to get all the presentations and then we shall share. But like I picked one thing, is that sometimes when you are alone, you cannot make it. But if you are